to get you. We know where to write you down. Move that chair right there around there. She saw her. And all of us as teachers remember from when we were going to school, we were little that made an impact. And that disciplinary with love. I just got all okay. Like everybody knows. Everybody knows. No. In a very good way. Good. Okay. Very good way. Come sit here. Come sit right here. Come sit right here. Sit right here. Okay. That's like Mr. McIntosh. 30 seconds. See what you're saying.
Just wanted to, before we get started, I just wanted to ask Dr. Jackson if you would open us up in a word of prayer when we get ready to start.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir. Say hello to everybody before they start.
Okay. Thank all of you for coming out to our first town hall meeting at Lincoln Park. We really appreciate you coming out. Before we get started, I'd like for Dr. Earl Jackson to open us up in a word of prayer.
Let us stand for the prayer, because we stand for the pledge of allegiance. Turn to God is great.
Father God, we come before thee this afternoon as humble as we know how. Coming as an individual before a poor fountain, as a disobedient child before a disciplined parent. We come before thee because thou art God and there is no other God, and you're worthy of all the praise. God, we're in a meeting this evening and you know our reason for being here. We ask that you would be in the midst, and I pray that you would give us an understanding of the things that we must do. Crown our heads with all the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, God, whereas we realize it's more about the children and not about us, God. And I pray today, oh God, that everyone will be here tonight, God, and you be in the midst of the meeting, because the meeting will not be successful if you're not in the midst of it. And I do pray that we will, amen, understand each person has an opinion, God, and respect that opinion. But most of all, God, it's about, again, the children, moving out children, whereas they can be in a safe environment, they can learn, and most of all, that we can have something within our community, God, that our children won't have to go so far to go to school. So thank you this afternoon for those that had a mind to want to come and those that decided it was important enough for us to meet tonight, oh God. And so I thank you again for all of us here. Thank you for safe travel. Thank you for, amen, bringing us in. And I pray as we leave, God, you will give us traveling grace back to our individual homes. And so God, right now, in the name of Jesus, we want to say that you're welcome in this place. And God, from this minute on, you are in charge. In Jesus' name, we pray and say amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Before we get started with the rest of the program, I just want to thank Lincoln Park Elementary School for allowing us to host this tonight under the leadership of Pastor Sellers and AP Principal, Dr. Moody. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here tonight. Also want to thank WRNE Radio under the leadership of Mr. Robert Hill, who did an outstanding job of advertising it, as well as WBQP TV, under the leadership of Mr. Brennan Watts and also Mr. Troy Mims for always supporting us and broadcasting this event live. Also want to thank our superintendent, Mr. Keith Leonard, and his staff for all of their hard work of helping me get the statistics and data that I need for tonight's meeting. But most of all, thank all of you for coming out tonight and showing your concerns for Lincoln Park Elementary and the students who are here tonight. The way we'll go tonight is that the superintendent's going to speak, and I'm going to ask Principal Sellers to speak, and I will go over some of the statistics and the data that we have. We will take, at that point, we will take questions and hopefully have some answers for you for tonight, and then we can be through for tonight. But at this time, I'd like for Superintendent of School, Mr. Keith Leonard, to come his own way to address you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I still want to call him Coach Williams. He was at Pensacola High School, won all those basketball games. I want to thank Joe Bina and Dr. Mooney as well for hosting us here at Lincoln Park. There we go. And Mr. Williams and I had this conversation maybe 2 months ago, and I appreciate the fact that he wanted to be proactive. Another thank you that I want to make certain that I take care of right here is Miss Lewis helping us with some pizza.
Yes.
And babysitting here tonight. Thank you for doing that for this group of citizens. When I wrote down some notes about what I wanted to be able to talk to the individuals that would show up and had the concerns that we share here at Lincoln Park, I wanted to make certain that my comments would hopefully address perhaps some of the concerns that you have. So I'm just going to lay a few things out there, and I want to tell you why I'm here. The reason I'm here, and the preacher hit the nail on the head, is the crown that we all wear. And what we need to do to be able to help all of our students. And tonight we're talking about our students and faculty at Lincoln Park Elementary School. I can't tell you necessarily why these numbers are what they are. But my main focus tonight is to have an informal conversation, tell you exactly where we are, and then solicit your help. To solicit your help and support. There are 470 kids that are of pre-K through 5th grade age that live in the Lincoln Park attendance zone. 470 students. Currently, there are 182 students that come to Lincoln Park Elementary School. So 470 live in the zone and 182 attend the school. You take, we are a business. The school district is a business. If you take the value of the FTE, the full-time equivalent of each of those students, it's about $1.5 million. The operation of a fully operational 470 student school would have a cost of about $2.6 million. So you can do the delta there. So from an operations and efficiency standpoint, it makes it difficult. Also from a resources standpoint, it makes it difficult. From a staffing issue, having teachers, having teacher assistants, it makes it difficult. So before I go any further, one of the first steps that we need to make certain that we take care of, and we've got about 78 days, I think it's 79 days, where our kids will be coming to school, that we need to increase enrollment at Lincoln Park Elementary School. I was not part of it, but I know about 7 or 8 years ago, this community had to rally and do the same thing that we're talking about now. The student enrollment had dropped. What they did at that particular time from a school district standpoint, I should say from a school board standpoint, they moved it to a K through, I believe it was a K through 3, and then they worked for a full year to be able to get student enrollment back up. I'm telling you, we need to do it. The kids in this community deserve it. We deserve it. And you deserve it. The attendance at Lincoln Park, I told you there's 182 that are coming. Out of that 182, the daily attendance rate is 89.92%. So it's not at 90%. 10.8% of the 182 students miss every day. I see you shaking your head, you're right. We got to get them here, and then we got to get them to come every day. Mr. Williams is going to go through the academic side of things. The other thing I want to be able to talk to you about, it's part of the academics. I was actually on the conference call today for about an hour and a half as they were reviewing all the things that are going on in the legislature. A bunch of bills that are going to have an impact on education. We'll have another meeting on Friday. There's what's called a turnaround law that impacts all the public schools throughout the state of Florida that find themselves in academic distress. It currently takes 2 years to get into the turnaround, and it only takes 1 year to get out. You get a C or better, you get out of it. This new legislation, I can't remember the House bill, it's looking at moving the number of years for turnaround from 2 years to 4 years. And then to be able to get out of turnaround, you have to get a C 2 consecutive years. Now, I see some very familiar faces in here, some people that I've had the opportunity to work with and try to make positive change in our community. Where this crown doesn't want to end up is where we ended up with one of our schools on the west side of our county. I don't want anybody, I don't want any community to have to go through that long, drawn out, where DOE ends up, the Department of Education ends up telling you, 338 citizens, what we are going to do with one of our schools. That's not what we want. There are a lot of different options. So I'm going to start off with the main option. We need to rally. We need to go to churches, we need to go to civic organizations, we need to go door to door in this community. We need to get parents to get engaged. We need to get students that live in this zone to come to this school. And we need to show them what we can do academically. There's nothing we can't accomplish if we do it together. You may want me to go through some of those options if that doesn't happen. And I think it's important that you hear them. And I'm going to start off with the very first one that nobody wants me to breathe. That's closure. You need to, this is an informal conversation. I got wide shoulders and my wife would tell you I got a wide tail. This is time for you to understand what could happen. Because if we get in that turnaround, they're going to make us make a choice. Now with it being 4 years, they may make us deliver DOE that choice 3 years in advance. I don't know. It's only in the legislature. We'll know around the Ides of March what really comes out. There's consolidation when we look at other schools in close proximity. There's what's called an external operator, and if we get full-fledged into turnaround, we will be required to have a contract with an external operator. There's contracted schools. There's charter schools. There are conversion charters. All of which would have to go through, not all of them, but the majority of them would have to go through this community. Some of them actually require votes by community members. Some of them, not some of them, all of them would require a vote by our school board. And about 4 of those 5 would also require action by the State Board of Education. So I wanted to throw all of those out there so you would know. And I said the ugly word first, but before I said that, I told you what I really wanted us to do. I've always believed in doing everything you can to control your own destiny. God has a plan for each of our lives. He's marked our steps. But He didn't want you to just fail along out there. He wants you to do things to make yourself better. And I believe we need to control our own destiny. We'll have the opportunity tonight to hear from Ms. Lawson Sellers, Mr. Williams, and then I'll be here as long as there's pizza to talk to you, converse with you, have a good time with you, for you to ask me any questions. If I have the answers, I'll provide them to you. If I don't, I'll get them for you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Next up, we'd like to hear from the principal of Lincoln Park, and allow Principal Sellers to come in our own way and share with you about Lincoln Park.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to see everyone here. I see some familiar faces and some new faces, but I'm here to talk about Lincoln Park and tell you some of the things that are happening, good things that are happening here on campus, and tell you some of our challenges that we're having here and some realities. I'm a very candid and transparent person, so I apologize beforehand if I hurt some feelings, but we will have to have some tough conversations here tonight. First of all, this is just my second year here as principal of Lincoln Park. If you've been around, you know that Cassandra Smith retired. And she had actually was a principal before. They were talking about closure before, so this is not the first time that Lincoln Park has been in this situation. She worked tirelessly. I've talked to her about things that she did to try to turn the school around and get students back at the school. But Lincoln Park as a community, as we have talked, and Mr. Watson, before he passed, was on our school advisory council, and he was over the neighborhood HOA. The community has changed. And so some of the challenges that we have now are not the same challenges that Cassandra faced. A lot of the families are elderly and have moved out, homes have been sold, homes have been rented out, and we have a new type of family in the area. So to tell you some of the things that we've done as a school, we really focused last year and this year so far, but we really focused on, it was post-COVID and we know everything was closed, to really get parent involvement increased. We held at least 10 events here at the school where we invited families in both during the day and at night. We incentivized families coming. We had raffles in which we gave away gift cards and different items. We publicized this through social media, through school messenger, and through our website. So the families were involved. What we found, our challenge for parental involvement, because that's what I'm talking about now, is that they would RSVP, but when it was actual time for parents to arrive, they would not show. That is the foundational issue that we have here at this school. You know as well as I, by you being here tonight, you're involved, you're invested in this community, you're invested in this school, that learning first begins at home before a student even attends a school. And the value of education is established before they even attend the school. Our students, when they arrive, they're already behind neighboring schools. How do I know? I look at the data, and I looked at the kindergarten data. And our data is in the single digits, where we have schools such as Scenic Heights, Suter, and so forth, whose students are, 40% of their students are already proficient. And we probably may have 1 or 2% proficient. So we start off in the hole, we start off in the negative. Nevertheless, I would like to recognize my staff at this time, because the community sees nothing but an F. And with that F comes stigma. And maybe you think that we just show up and not work every day. I would beg to differ that we probably have the hardest working people, or one of the set of the hardest working people in the county. But the odds are against them and they keep coming back. But we also find that as a challenge, because they can go teach in school down the street and not work as hard. I'm just being honest. I told you I have candid conversation, I gotta be honest. So we have teachers that leave because they can go and have 40% proficiency before they open a book or turn on a computer. So as you know, that is a much easier feat than coming in with students that not only are you challenged because they're coming in behind, but they're also do not have that value instilled that education is the way out of their current situation. When I was growing up, we knew that if you wanted finer things in life, if you wanted out of poverty, education was the way. And even though I had grandparents and parents that necessarily didn't have the highest education, that was stressed in my household. So I know firsthand on my father's side, I was the first to graduate from college. So on his side of the family, my mother's totally different, but my father's side of the family being the first to graduate with a college degree, but I can tell you one thing, I was not the last. Now that has been established, and it is a norm that we go to college and attend college and gain higher education. But I saw two different sides of my family, where my mother's side of the family was highly educated, doctors, lawyers, and so forth. But I can tell you that it was my father who instilled that necessity for learning in us, because he always showed us something that we wanted to achieve or something that we didn't have. He showed us more than what we could see. And we do know that children cannot be what they cannot see. So we have to give them a good outlook. So we have tried to engage our parents, and we're still challenged. I think I've seen one parent here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And so it speaks volumes when a parent shows up and attends the events and encourages their child. So as a community, if you live in this community, we are open to suggestions. We are open to any ideas on how, because it's not just a Lincoln Park issue. This is a Escambia County School District issue at all of our schools that are in predominantly black areas. So as a black and African American female, I often have these conversations at home with my husband that I am concerned about where our children are going to be. Because if we don't somehow stress the importance and get the Black community to understand the importance of education. I don't know if everybody see it, but I look ahead. There is not many entry-level jobs going to be available. If you've been to Walmart lately, you can see that Walmart is disbanding cashiers and computers are taking over. So it's just a matter of time before computers start stocking the shelves. So we have to get our children some skills, some trades, and that begins before they enter school, getting them to know and love education. So I also want to do a plug in here. On February the 15th, anyone that's watching and knows someone in this area, we're going to have a family night. And at that family night, we're going to help families build home libraries. So if the parents attend, they will walk away with bookshelves that are not bookshelves like we know, but we have a local church that is making bookshelves for us out of crates, milk crates. And he is going to provide those, and we're going to provide the books so that children have access to books. Because I'm also not ignorant to poverty, that if you're trying to put food on the table, the books is not the first thing you're going to buy when you go into the store. So we're trying to take away those excuses that, are those challenges and barriers that families have. So they will walk away with books and we will teach families how to sit down with their child, read, ask questions that will translate to some of the things and the elements of stories that they need to know at the school. If you are familiar with education, you know that when you have low achievement, it is paired with behaviors. So we do have a share of behavior issues. And we also know that children are much different than they were a few years ago. Because I believe, this is not research-based, that maybe technology has changed the way they are wired. And so what we see is that we have a lot of technology that we use in schools, and they would prefer to use that for preferred activities such as YouTube and so forth. So we fight that battle of them staying on the specific programs that we use. And the ways that we try to combat the behavior issues is we have Class Dojo, was the program that we use, where the students earn points in their classes. And they earn these points for behavior, they earn the points for academic achievement, and then those points translate into points that you can use that equates to like money. And we have a store that they can go to and cash in their points. Because we are challenged with staff, we are not classified as a PBS, which is a positive behavior intervention school. But because of my background, we brought a lot of those principles into the school. So we like to reward them, not just punish and be punitive, so they can work towards things. Which I mentioned, lack of staff. This is a challenge in education everywhere, but at our schools, it seems to be an even greater challenge. And again, it's because sometimes it's a tough, rough job. The best teachers can be found at the most challenging schools, I'm just gonna say that. But teachers sometimes are tired and they're weary. And then when they call for intervention, in my day, if you called home, they didn't call home for me because I didn't want them to call home, because But if they called home, there was some consequences. And so teachers call and they look for intervention for home. So we've got to get our families to know that we need to have a home-school partnership and that the school cannot do it all, educationally or behaviorally. And so that partnership is missing. And so many times when you call, and I'm going to use this loosely, and I may get in trouble with the superintendent, but oh well. I say that you don't need to be your child's first defense attorney. You do not need to be your child's first defense attorney. Well, what did you say? Did you ask him? We've already investigated. If I'm calling you, it's a problem. And so we've got to get our parents, I don't know if that's a trust issue or if it's just new age parenting, But we've got to hold our children, we have to hold our children responsible for their behavior. They have to be held accountable. If we do not hold them accountable now, we are setting them up for failure in life. Because later in life, they will be held accountable for their behaviors and their actions. So I'm a little tough sometimes on the children, but they know I love them. But we have to hold them accountable. And sometimes we end up having to try to hold the parents accountable as well. We started with a deficit this year in teachers. We were about 7 teachers short. And in that, we started this summer when we were hiring, we had no 3rd through 5th teachers. The same last year, we had vacancies. So part of the challenge is if you cannot get a great teacher in, no program, no computer, nothing can replace a good teacher. So one of our goals this year is, as we're building staff's capacity, because of the 7 vacancies that we've had to fill some positions with long-term subs, and some positions are not filled at this time still.
Will you tell them who's also teaching?
Yes, Dr. Moody teaches math and I teach science for 5th grade. Now, as we're doing this, we're still trying to operate a school. And so we still have mandated meetings and things that we have to attend. So as you can imagine, it is difficult keeping the pacing and keeping the students up. So right now we're in overdrive of trying to make sure we cover what we may have missed. This was no different than last year where we were short of teachers and having to try to instruct. Of the teachers that we hired, and don't get me wrong, they are wonderful. And they are dedicated. And every day when we do walkthroughs, they are working so hard and diligently to bring our boys and girls up. They've bought into the mission, they see the vision, and they believe in it, and they're trying. But we have alternatively certified teachers, and some of those teachers came in with no experience in education at all. So we had to start teaching them how to be a teacher from the ground up. And so when you can have all the willingness and wanting to learn and wanting to do, but there's just some things that you just have to know. And so when you're on the job and you're trying to learn those things in real time, as you can imagine, that is a difficult task. Yet the ones that have started with us, some of them have stuck with it, some have left. We've had some walk out the day, tell me, and walk out that same day. But the ones that have remained are the ones that's committed. We have had training for staff for first semester, which is August through December, every single Wednesday. The teachers stayed late after school to try to build their skills. We started with ELA. I don't know if anyone's ever been in the classroom, but it is a lot to learn. Teaching is not easy by no accounts on a regular day. And with the new mandates and the new curriculums and the new requirements and what they're asking for our children to do at their ages and grade level, it is a monumental task. But yet they show up every morning and they give it their all. And they take constructive criticism well. And they take feedback well. And so that is why we have made it so far to this point with them. This semester we're focusing on the math. And again, they're in training. On Wednesdays, we have a special schedule on some Tuesdays for AIRY training, and we have a special schedule on Wednesdays for collaborative planning, because what we found is a very small school. We only have 2 teachers per grade level, so their collaboration time is not a natural ability to do that. So what we have done is fostered a schedule where we extend their special areas for an hour so that we can have time to work with the teachers. Some of the people that are working with them in conjunction with us is, and I would like to, if you don't mind, call their names, Tanya DeLorum from the ELA department and Mary Steele from the math department. So that started this year. We didn't have it last year, but now, we're in a bit of a pickle. Now, I would like to say, you let me know if I'm going too long. He said 30 minutes. I'm really gonna take 30 minutes too. I would like to say that last year's score was based on proficiency alone. Now, I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but that is children that were on grade level. So learning gains was not taken into account. It was strictly on proficiency. So if you recall me telling you, we start in the negative on proficiency, so we're already behind. Let me move on the notes I made over there. Attendance, I think Mr. Williams brought up attendance. Attendance is a challenge. So what we did is we focused on attendance this year. We incentivized the students with $300 for perfect attendance. Not cash, school points, lever bucks. We incentivized them with $300 so that they can spend in the store. Now, when we talk attendance, I would like to break that down a little further because most people believe that attendance is just present or absent, you know, here or there, here or not. Attendance also, we take into account tardies. There was a huge tardy issue when I got here. The students would just scroll in, you know, 9, 10. By that time, they've missed 2-3 hours of instructional time. Then there was the checkouts. So the same thing, if you check out at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So although we have made huge gains in that area, huge, tremendous improvement, we do still have a long way to go. Community partners, if anyone happens to be a business owner or you know a business owner or a local church, we could use as many community partners as we can get because, of course, I'm talking about all of the incentivizing, but incentives come with a cost, which is not in school budget. We also incorporated an award ceremony at the end of last year because I felt like everyone likes to be recognized and hear their name. Instead of just a certificate, we actually gave them medals for the most improved, high achievement, and perfect attendance and so forth in each area. In addition, our teachers look at the data every week, so we know our data. And we know that we still have some training needs, and we are in the process of improving that. So how can you help? I've talked a lot. Again, if you know someone that lives in the area, you have someone that has school-aged children in the area, I always seem to see my more seasoned community members come out. But if you live next door to someone that's a parent, encourage them to come to the school. If they don't have a car, offer to drive them to the school. Whatever they're saying that's causing them not to come to the school, if you could help us remove those barriers, it would be greatly appreciated. If we could hold our kids accountable in the community, then it would make it easier for us to hold them accountable at school. It used to be, and I know we can't do it anymore, but if you act up down the street and Miss Mary saw you acting up, then you got in trouble at every house up to yours, and then when you got home, you got in trouble too, because it was a village, it was a community. We lost that. And in some way, we've got to recapture that and be responsible, because that translates even to school where they think, you know, that certain people can tell them something and someone can't. So if you could just talk and encourage, even if it starts at church, encourage them to let the community help you raise your children, because it will make a difference. If you know someone who has a college degree, who has not yet found gainful employment, and they're in limbo about what they're going to do and what their future looks like, and they like children, let me say it again, they like children. Because you have to like children first before you become a teacher. So if you don't like children, that's okay, just don't even worry about it. But if you like children and you feel like there is a greater purpose in your life, because this is called work, it's not just work that anybody can do, and you want to try to be a teacher and see if it's for you, please call us. You can call me personally. You can call our Human Resource Department. Malia Adams will talk to you at the Human Resource Department and guide you through that process, because we have to have teachers. And finally, I would ask that you know that we need help. We need help. We cannot keep going like we're going. And every day I'm trying to encourage someone, but education as a whole, I don't know what the future is, but I told a parent last year, and I'm going to say it today, our schools will be the first schools that will not have teachers. And I'll say it again, our schools, and I'm talking, I'm not making this a racial thing, but I'm talking to my people right now. Our schools will be the first schools that will not have teachers. I talked to the other principals at other schools that have similar population. They have the same challenges, exact same challenges. So that lets me know it's not a Lincoln Park area issue. It's not a Escambia County school system issue. It is a community issue. And I don't know what happened to us, but this is after hours. We need to return to the Lord. And we need to return to godly principles, and we need to encourage people to get their children in church, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning. And then when children don't grow up and know the fear of God and love God, and God teaches them to love others, then that's why we have the bully issue. That's why we have the drug issue, because they don't love themselves. So I'm going to go, because I can talk all night. And I told Mr. Williams, my daddy was a preacher, he can't give me a mic. But thank you for listening, and thank you, Mr. Williams.
Let's give our round of applause.
Thank you, Principal Sellers. No one could say it better. I'm going to go through a few statistics. I gave you a handout. But one of the reasons I do this is because I'm so concerned for District 3. I have 12 schools in our district, and I plan on doing some of these town hall meetings at most every one of them. But we've got to address the issues early. We can't wait till later to address the issues and be reactive. We've got to be proactive. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to be proactive. Letting the community know we need your help. Letting the community know where we are and exactly what we need. And Principal Sellers did a great job. The handout, one of the handouts you have has statistics on it. I'm not going to go over every statistics, but I'm going to hit the highlights for you as well. Attendance has already been addressed. Enrollment has been addressed. One of the things I was going to say is that we have almost 300 to 400 students that live in this area that do not attend Lincoln Park, who's eligible to come to Lincoln Park, but are not coming to Lincoln Park. And the superintendent has explained to you the fiscal responsibility of non-attendance. We have 108, I had 181, but it's 182. Possibly the school could probably house 400 students. So attendance is a problem. And we need to encourage the neighborhood students to come to school. The reason I say that we know that we can do this again, because if you look at the school grades that I gave you on the handout, the school grade, except for 1 year, that was the COVID year, we did not receive a school grade. They received a C for 3 straight years, then got a B in the year 21, 22, and this past year received a failing grade. We're trying to avert from that. We're receiving another failing grade at Lincoln Park, and so that's why we're bringing that attention to you at this point. They have so many initiatives that they've been trying to put into place here, the AIRY program and phonics program, and then Principal Sellers has been very supportive of the teachers, of trying to get teachers, and so to express the needs that they have of community involvement, community partnership, getting the area students to come to Lincoln Park as well, and teacher retention. One of the things I'm encouraging all of our schools in District 3 is to start a PTA and also become part of the School Advisory Council. That's a way of parents can get involved and can have a voice at what goes on at your school. When I was principal at Pensacola High School, PTA was a very reliable resource for me and my children, and also all of our students and all of our organizations at the school. So PTA, you do not have to have a child at the school to be a part of the PTA. Right now, Lincoln Park is considered an ATSI school, and that's because of the grade they receive. And that's just an acronym for additional targets, support, and improvement. And that's because of the grade they received this past school year. And we want them to move from that to being a proficient school. And it's going to take all of us to do that. What has been instituted in Escambia County is there's a progress monitoring tool that they use. We just completed progress monitoring 2, and also on your handout you have a little snippet of that progress monitoring tool, which shows where kids, who is proficient, percentage of proficiency, and then there's a projection. I spoke to Mr. Bobby, who is our statistical scientist for the county, and he's projecting learning gains. And as the principal said before, that learning gains was not included in this last school grade. It was just all on proficiency. So if we had learning gains, some of the schools in District 3 that received those failing grades probably would not have received those failing grades. And also I've given to you all of the District 3 schools, also their percentage of level 3. Level 3 is the level of proficiency and the percentage. You can go across there and see exactly how they're doing. And also those subgroups. There are subgroups that's considered in the ESSA group, and that's how you come up with a school grade. We have to service all of those subgroups. ELL, English language learners, Hispanic, multiracial, black, white, students with disabilities, and socially economically disadvantaged students. We have a school, every school has a school improvement plan where they have to address each one of those students and come up with a plan where they can close the achievement gap. And that's how you come up with a school grade, because then you see how those students score in ELA, English language arts, and also math. And then so that's how you come up with the school grade as such. And so we don't want, as the superintendent said, we do not want DOE coming in and dictating to us what we need to do with our schools. We have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the knowledge, but we need your help. We need community help. In this area, I think we have two schools. One is Jacqueline Harris, the other one is Lincoln Park. Both of them are in need of your support. Both of them are in District 3. And we've been brainstorming. I've been meeting with principals throughout District 3. I've met with Ms. Lewis many times. I've met with Global principal and also Montclair principal. We're looking at the data, and we're trying to get ahead of the data. And hopefully we can put some things in place, some resources in place that can help to where, like Superintendent Leonard said, we're not in a situation like another school was, where the state came in and pretty much told us what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. I don't want to lose that control of our students, because when I go around and visit all of our schools in District 3, they're working so hard. The teachers are working hard, and I commend Principal Sellers and Dr. Moody. I can't imagine how you run a school and also teach school all day. I just can't imagine how you do that, but they're making it work. They're making it work, and they'll be commended for their efforts and their hard work. And I just want to let you know it doesn't go unnoticed. And you're probably wondering, well, why we don't have teachers? Well, I've been there where you advertise that position over and over and over again, and you don't get anyone to come in and apply for those positions. So if you know of anyone who is interested in possibly becoming a teacher, there's ways of getting those people certified to help. Our students need your help. And I'm so thankful for all of you that's coming out tonight, and that you came out and show your support for this area. I know that, one of the things that people, that I heard, that Mr. Lennon and myself was coming out to close Lincoln Park. That's the farthest from the truth. We're coming out here asking for your help and letting Lincoln Park know we're in this with you, and we're going to support you and give you all the resources and help that we possibly can. want to open this part up to just questions. And we have another microphone out here, and we can pass the microphone around. And if Superintendent Leonard and Ms. and Principal Sellers come up front, they may have some questions for all of us.
Chairman. I just wanted to say tonight to the Principal Sellers, we have the same issues at Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy. We have the same issues, some of the same issues. After meeting you and talking, I said to myself, Lord, I'm up on the hill over there on Pensacola Boulevard, you on Kershaw, same needs. So I'm going to ask very boldly tonight that we join forces. Whatever I can do to help, whatever we can do to help each other. We need to help each other. Tonight, no one could have told me. Well, yes, they could have told me, but I was hoping that I would see more faces. I'm being honest, that I'm seeing tonight. Everybody want to talk, but nobody is doing anything. When you told me you were teaching a class, I said, Lord, we got Children Trust Fund money. We got all this money coming into Stanley County. I'm being honest. And everybody know me, I'm bold. Because I gotta say it, truth to power. That's why I was so impressed with you. Now I'm going to stand here. We got Captain over here, who's over Stanley County Schools. We got board member, Representative David Williams. I see the ECUA representative there. He's dealing with water and sewer. Thank you for coming. Because we got a problem. I couldn't dare just sit there and hear what you're saying. And I don't feel it. And I don't feel it. Because I'm confronted with the same thing. Matter of fact, I told my staff, this is about the end for me this year. I got to have a change. I said that. You're feeling the same way. You're younger than I am. Beautiful too. I just want to say we need help. And for those individuals who are watching tonight, go tell others. Stop talking about they're going to close our school. Where are you? Where are you? That's my question to everybody. Where are you? You can clap because where are they? We don't have to worry about closing our schools. Look at what happened in Warrenton. I'm going to be brief. Look at what happened in Warrenton. I listened to the Department of Education. Mr. Superintendent, I got to say it. You weren't the superintendent at that time. They called us, I'm going to say it, incompetent. They said that the superintendent didn't have the guts to do what he needed to do. I'm not wrong on that. They said that. But here we have a young man that I taught at Jim Allen Elementary School. Stand boldly to say, he's not here to close the school, but he's not going to have another embarrassing situation. Too weak to do anything. And if we can't do what we need to do, I stand boldly tonight to say, we got to do something. You can clap, we got to do something. And I need your help. You bring a lot to the table that I need. So I'm going to ask the superintendent, Representative David Williams, the people over the Children Trust Fund, Board of County Commissioners, is Mr. May here? can't believe you voting to close the school. You had a lot to say. You know, everybody smiling. You had a lot to say. No, I'm not voting to close the school. We're not proposing. Do you support it? I need help. At Pensacola Family Care I'm talking about my group home. I need help at Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy. I know the history of this school. Jackie Harris, Doris Parker, Mr. Watson, who you mentioned, passed away. Lincoln Park Homeowners Association. This was a neighborhood school. And the neighbors have gone. The neighbors' children have gone. And the neighbors' children who can do better, they don't come here. I'm going to be honest. I rest my seat. I hope you like what I said, but God is pleased with what I said. Truth to power. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Any other questions?
This principal, great job. And we're going to try to figure out something. For one, I just think it's unfair. You have to go to school, teach a class, train teachers. I have over 40 years of experience in education, never heard nothing like that before in my life. I do have one question on the attendance thing. Because, you know, talk is talk. And we get these meetings, let's come up with a strategy. And so, I got a tutor to stop out here. I got kids at the gym waiting on me right now. They texting me, Coach, where you at? Okay? Because we got some stuff we got to take care of. But the attendance, when you said it was going to be, you know, you got kids in the area and they're not coming to school, and they come to school at that time of day, and they elementary school kids, that's got to be something with the parents. Okay? Because the kids can't drive. So on that, now, if they live in this area and do you know if they're going to other schools outside the district, or are they just not going to school at all? What's my question? Because we can get through the neighborhood, knock on some doors and try to figure out.
It's both, but...
So there are at least, I believe, and then they can help me out, 7 or 8 new communities in the Lincoln Park zone. Those parents that are moving in are deciding to take their children to Pine Meadow, Lipscomb, MacArthur, which are schools right up the road off of 29. When we get students in from those new neighborhoods, some come a week and stay and go, and some stay and remain for like last year, they came for the remainder of the year, and then they opted out, they choiced out this year. Now,
that's another reason we need to rally together truly academically. One of the requirements that the state puts on a school district is that when a school either enters turnaround or earns an ELF, you have to send a letter to every family that lives in that school zone. You have to provide transportation to that family to go to any school they want to.
So the school had to send a letter out after the last grade.
Yes, sir.
But they didn't do the game.
Correct.
And then give them transportation too.
That is correct.
That's it.
That'd be like me and you playing in a basketball game.
That's it.
I only have to shoot it at 1 basket, and you guys shoot it at 5.
I see. I understand.
Yes, sir.
So I guess the attendance thing, we got to get them here. And we get them here.
so it is a parental issue because they're elementary.
We deal with at-risk kids.
So we're dealing with, and that's why I spent so much time on the adults, on the parental issue.
I thought this question may come up. Out of the
182 that attend Lincoln Park, 158 ride the bus. So either the parent isn't getting up and getting the kid on the bus.
And it's just right up in here.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see that's a problem.
Yeah, we just gotta take, how you feeling?
One bite at a time.
And we gotta find one thing at a time to meet. But whatever your advisory committee, whatever, I get back in touch with. I gotta go.
Put some kids.
School Advisory Council.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember the date in your 8th?
Okay.
February 8th at 11 o'clock. If you want to attend School Advisory Council, they are open.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach Watson.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? One, Dr. Wood?
I have a question.
Maybe push it up.
I don't really have a question, but I have more, I guess, a comment. From what I'm hearing tonight, it's more of a parental problem than it is anything else. I mean, and I'm just like you, I'm just honest. You can't make grown people do anything. If the parents are not motivated themselves, the children are not going to be motivated. So we need advice. What can we do? Now, I can do it all day from my pulpit. Every Sunday, I can encourage. Matter of fact, the last time we did it, Dr. Curry was here. We're going through the same problem then. We did the same identical thing from our pulpit. We were encouraging kids within the community to attend this church. This school. So I guess we need some brainstorming how to get in the community. I heard someone say about knocking on doors to get our kids. In my community, my son went to this school, but it was out of elementary at this time. Where I live on my street, all of us, our kids are grown and gone. So there are no kids in my neighborhood. So I'm not sure where these kids are coming from that they're talking about. I know there's a Brittany Point, there's other places around that area. So
I tell you, preacher, what we'll do, we'll make sure that everybody that's on this list, we'll be able to get where these, we'll send you a zone, an attendance zone.
Okay.
We'll make sure that we get that information to you, and then that would tell you the zone of the school, and you would see the street names, addresses. We can't give you the address of each student. That'd be a violation of law, but we can tell you what that attendance zone is, and then we can begin to target where those families are.
Okay, I'd like to say to Principal Sellers as well, we like to, Damascus Road, we like to partner with the school. Matter of fact, we were partnered with the when Ms. Melishine was here. We were partners, and we were the safe haven school at that time for the kids here. If there were like drills or something, they would come up to our church. So I'd like to do the same thing. And just to say, since we're in proximity, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, Ms. Saucine, we're going to be with Jacqueline Harris as well. So I'd like for us to partner, because we at Damascus Road say that we are a community church. Well, if we are a community church, then we need to start getting involved in the community. And the other thing I have to know, we can start with both schools, start with this school and that school. So anything we can do, please let me know. I'll give you my phone number, and then we can go from there. This is interesting. I'm just depressed at hearing this, that parents are not doing what they were supposed to do. My mother didn't ask me if I wanted to go to school. I wasn't asked. I was told you're going to school. Same thing with church. I wasn't asked if I wanted to go to church. If you lived in that house, you were going. So things are different. I don't know if parents are younger now, and that's probably what it is. You got a lot of real young parents, so they're still, in essence, children themselves. So they can care less if the kids get an education. And I'm talking from experience. I know for a fact I've got some people like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had to say something. My name is Larry Williams. I went to this elementary school back in the day. This was where it started, Olive Elementary, and Wedgwood and Woodham. So all the schools you talk about where you have a lot of problems, District 3,
I'm a product of those schools. And I live in Wedgwood, so Wedgwood is a feeder to Lincoln Park, and I am an active member in my community. And one of the things I see constantly is inactivity for them after school, right? The wife and I, we were talking about this. It's kind of hard for you to do everything within the school hours, but I don't necessarily see the young people being engaged like with a Coach Washington's program throughout the program. Also, when I grew up, we had many outlets for us throughout the year to be involved. We used to have, it's called Junior Achievement. We used to have programs from the university where they taught us how to swim. We used to have just a lot of programs that kept us actively engaged. We had sports all year round. As you saw it on TV, we went to the court or went to the field and we tried to do those very same things. If they don't like sports, then it's time to develop those kinds of games locally where they can get involved and compete. I don't know those other games, so I'm not going to speak to them, but whatever they like to do now, whatever they see being done now, they have to be able to engage on that with some adults or some interactive people who you would call mentors. And that's one thing I see missing. I see it in my community right now. When they get off the bus, many of them aren't engaged in the activities that they have at the community center. And as you know, that's a big help. The other issues are within the community, as you talked about, where there are many people who are renters, many people who, for whatever reason, don't get involved. And so a sense of a door-to-door knocking on doors, stressing the importance, is something that I would engage in if that's something that you all wanted to do, to make sure that parents knew how important the issues are for their children. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Up in the back.
Thank you. My name is Herman Grace. And actually, I wanted to touch on something that he was talking about, but he took what I was going to say. But I think one of the problems that we're having, I look around in the room, there's no men's. Believe it or not, I grew up in a household without a father. And it bothered me all the way up to my adulthood. Some kids carry anger with them because there's no man in their life. So if we get the men just to come, now y'all, I look around and see ladies. Ladies cannot raise a son. I'll be honest with you, they can't. They try to do the best they can because that's what my mother did. And I turned out pretty good. I never been to jail, I turned out pretty good. But the problem we have, and it's damn you counting, the men so easy. Women baby they boys and they come up with certain things. But you have to have a man. If we can get some men in here, when you say you're going to bring your father to school, you ought to see the difference in a child's face. Not a mother, because when a child leaves the house, he heard a mother in the morning, he hear a mother at teacher, that's all he hear. That's all he hear. But a man can walk in that building and he say, hey, it changed the whole thing. Believe me, if we can reach some men to come into these schools, it will change some of the outcome of some of them. I'll be honest with you, it took me all the way up to 40-some years to realize to forgive my father for what he done to me. Because without a father, I couldn't be a father. I didn't know how to be a father. I told my kids this, and I'm gonna sit down. I told my 3 kids this. I'm gonna make mistakes, but I'm gonna love you. But I'm gonna whoop you now. Because I don't know how to be a father. I told my kids this. I made some mistakes, but I learned from them. Now I have grandkids that I can teach my daughter and my sons how to be great people. But if we don't have men in the community come in and help us, you're never going to change it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Centoria Spencer, and I'm sorry, your name is Mr. Williams. And Mr. Williams made a statement. I'm coming here tonight. I do not have a child at Lincoln Park, but I heard it on WRD, and I wanted to get involved because I am a mentor, and I run a girls mentor organization. So I would say I grew up in Pensacola, but I did go to St. Michael's, graduated from Catholic, left Pensacola, but this is my home. So even though I appreciate what we're doing, I'm here to say yes because Ms. Lewis, because I'm meeting people in the community, and I don't know what's Sellers. We are a girls mentor organization, and I wanted to come because it's so true. I just had a meeting last night with parents, telling them how important it is to have their child attend for the mentoring program. Out of 40 parents, 10 was online. That gets me with our young ladies because we're losing them. And anything that we can do, I'm an organization from 9 to 18. Like Mr. Williams said, the mentoring, I will have more people put more emphasis on they got to go to sports, they can't come, we can't talk. The priority has to change. The mindset has to change. Understanding their leadership would get them to a point, whatever they want to be in life, it would get them open to avenues if we give them the education. So I will be here and I make sure I touch base with Ms. Lewis and yourself. So it's anything that I can do, and I'm not in the Lincoln Park, but Pensacola is my home. So my kids are here, my kids are grown, but yet and still I know I have to give back to the community. It's not just for us to come and take and then leave. So I'm here to offer our services, so I'll make sure I stay after to make sure, but Mr. Williams made a point, the mentorship is so important because sometimes we don't want to listen to mom and dad, and mentors can come in from a different angle and help with the leadership. But as they said, it's not a lot. If our parents are lazy and don't push our kids to do anything, guess what? And that's what we're fighting with the mentorship program that we have. But I just want to know that I'm here to help.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Anyone else? If there's nothing else?
We have one more.
Okay.
My name is Reverend Powell. I have an organization called Truth for Youth. Been around for about over 35 years. And we locked in, we just called them lock-in back in the day. We started out lock-ins. We came to this school several times back in the day, and we went to the Pensacola Civic Center. We locked in 3,000 to 4,000 children, elementary, middle school, high school, all night long. And 90% of those children, 85, 90% of those children were African Americans. Hispanics, whites, all came in. Stayed all night long, no fights. Had a good time. Didn't have any problem on campus in the area. The bus company came back online and made more money that night than they made all week long. 50 cents per child. Put your 50 cents in the bus and you ride that night and you got back on the bus the next morning. We're not talking about a couple of hours. They came in at 9 o'clock at night and they came out at 6 o'clock. We fed them food all night long. This is where they wanted to be. They came and they acted organized. Didn't have to have no microphone. We got it on video. They filled the Civic Center half of it up. And all I had to say was, shh. I learned how to stop people from talking, grown people the same way. Just said 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Everybody started looking around and stop talking. Because they feel like something's going to happen. I listen to everybody talk. Some of us talk. We think we got it down pat. You forgot where you were when you were a child. Things are never going to be like it was when I was a boy. Never. What we have missing in school, and the principal talks about it, morals. We call it by all these different names. It's morals. Knowing right from wrong and practicing it. We used to get it from home. We don't get morals from homes now. Get a lot of cussing, smoking, drinking, whatever. We used to get it from church. Problem with church is when we had the pandemic. A lot of people decided to stop going to church. And they ain't going back no more. So the children have nowhere to get morals from other than come and word and teaching. One thing about See, I can tell you about black folk because I've been black all my life. Okay? We're emotional people. You may be able to talk over our head, but when we walk in the room, we can tell the time we walk in whether you like me or you don't like me. And the moment that child determines that you don't like them, they stop learning. And they think they're hurting you, but they're hurting themselves. And we have the audacity to walk around like, I don't have to teach you, I got to do it to you, I got to do it to you. Children know who in that classroom teaches it because it's a job or it's a career. And we got people teaching and it's not a job. And we got some teachers, it's all about the career. I just come to get the time in, time to go. Whatever happened, Mr. Superintendent, when children, these rules they created years ago if a child didn't go to school and we would call the police and send something to the parent's house, write them up, and all that stuff went by the side. Every time we make rules, we break our own rules ourselves. No shower shoes in school, no this in school, do we talk like nonsense, it's okay. Children understand that we're consistent in being inconsistent. We want families to come out. We got to knock on doors. You don't have to give us a number. We need to knock on every door in Lincoln Park. So that neighbor can tell that neighbor to tell that neighbor, hey, Johnny ain't been going to school. I don't have to find a corporate. I just go there and knock on doors. They just need to know that somebody really cares. Image breeds inspiration. If there's no image, there is no inspiration. If the person knocking on the door don't look like me, I don't come to the door. And we can scatter around it. We're like, oh, we're going to fix this problem. The only way you're going to fix the problem, you got to get out there in the dirt, in the bushes, and bring it back. You have to enlighten young people. Young people came to my lock here. They come in whenever I do something. They come because I have something I'm giving away. I don't charge for nothing. Because that means I ain't got to put up with your nasty, rude, arrogant, self-centered attitude. You can walk away, but children will walk away and come right back. Grown folk walk away, they don't come back. I don't care. A child will walk away and they see their buddies not coming. They'll say, come on, I ain't coming, man. I like what they're going on. They're going to come back. The problem is when the child comes back, are you willing to do what? So come on in, baby. I forgive you for what you've done. Some of us get our attitude and say, no, you can't come back till tomorrow. Not today. You out. That's a soul. That's a soul we're dealing with. Hey, this is not a game we're playing. Children are not toys that we walk around and say, we'll get back with them next week. We got to solve this problem. We talk about this problem. We tell them that we can fix it. We act like this is a problem that we can't fix. We can fix this problem. The problem is that people don't really want to fix it. They like talking about how bad children are, how mischievous they are. You can't get along with them. They're just stupid, hard-headed. They love saying that because they can make money off them. They make money off bad children. We reward bad children, and you wonder why the good children are acting up. Because they say the only way I'm going to get a reward is I got to act like Johnny's doing over there. I got to kick things around and fight on and cuss people out. We got teachers getting cussed out every day. They can't do nothing about it. Because why? We done took all the morals out of school. Nobody stands there and says, right is right, wrong is wrong. You can't cheat this because you're standing on my dollar and you saw me drop it, and you put your foot and you said, God don't bless you. God ain't bless you with that dollar. You saw me drop it. Everything is being hooked. Children don't initiate love. They reflect it. Why we act like they love us? They don't love us. They reflect love. If you love me at home, I love you. If you hug me at home, I hug people. If my mom and dad don't hug nobody, I don't hug nobody. That ain't just not started. That's always been that way. My dad didn't know nothing about no love. He told my mama, she said, I love you. He said, hey, I'm drinking like beer and water, ain't it? That meant he loved her. But I learned when I was coming up, I had to hug my son, hug my daughter, hug my wife. And when a child comes to school, somebody got to be there to greet them and hug them, not just to have a guardian and a gun on their side. They got to be able to say, hey, glad you made it. Somebody to look at the camera and say, are we greeting children when they come to school? Do they really want to? We need to create activity. I used to visit several homes, elementary, and the rest of them, and bring little projects with them, bring the little game from the plate. And then we'll have a special time at school that we just have them meet in the lunchroom, and then we do something that makes them feel like school is important, it is entertaining. If all you're doing is studying all day long, it ain't gonna make it. We used to have break time, go to nap time. After we ate lunch, we took a nap, didn't we? Y'all forgot that. Y'all ain't forgot that. You used to have a nap after you got it, when you got through that PE. All these things have been taken out of school. They caught hell just trying to get PE back in school. See, I ain't talking about something I don't know. It's best that I sit down and keep my mouth closed and shut up. Because if we keep on kicking the can down the road like it's going to say no. Mr. Dennis Lewis, excellent idea. Principal doing an outstanding job. But we got to stop worrying about what other folks are not doing. What are you doing? Now, we don't have to have a family member here tonight. Our mama, grandmama, nobody have to be here. If we're here, then we need to band ourselves together and go. What I do on some Saturday, I got a bunch of basketballs I ordered the other day. I should get them in next week or tomorrow. I go over to Lincoln Park over here, and I roll them out at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, I roll them out in the playground over there. And I step back and I watch the children walk out there. They come out there, they got no ball to play with. They ain't got that. They pick up the ball. Now I ride on the ball. Love you. Jesus. Put some on that ball that they can't take off. They take the ball and they go start shooting. But now they're doing something, but they read for a moment. Something that made them feel like they were loved. What are we doing in this neighborhood to empower young people? Pastor was talking about it. We've been given a summons today. It's just a little meeting that they're being called. When we need to leave with a mindset that says, I'm going to do something myself. I'm telling you, tomorrow, whenever my basketball's coming, I'll go out there. Everybody got to watch me do it. Because he said, you ain't got to, when you practice, everybody got to watch you come there. You ain't got to water. You ain't got to watch. Just roll the ball out there and go about your way. Throw a baseball out there. Kick a soccer ball out there. Just leave it out there. Give it something to do with the time. Then you can walk out there while they're playing and say, how you doing? My man just left me going to see about basketball. Great. And they got to do nothing. They ain't got nothing to do with Lincoln Park. If I was too busy to come, I should have left earlier. I don't care for you. I don't care for folk like me. I ain't got long to be here. What are you doing with the time you got? What you doing now? What are we doing? You ought to be bugging somebody when you get home. Hey, should have been there. Lincoln Park, we got to do something. We got to do something right now. Our children need us. Look, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
What is disheartening and quite frankly embarrassing is that you got two leaders here having to spend time in the classroom instructing. And during the Civil War, Lincoln suspended habeas corpus because drastic times required drastic measures. If I have something that I need for my program, don't have it in my budget, I ask my supervisor, can I get it from general revenue? Is there any funds, are there any funds available to sweeten the pot for teachers, for individuals to be incentivized to be teachers here at Lincoln Park? And this question is for the superintendent. It's amazing, it's embarrassing that these two leaders are having to be in the classroom.
I totally agree with you. Ms. Sellers can tell you, I don't know how long ago it was, but they're not the only school that's in this situation. We had a conversation. I actually directed our human resources director to do central hiring. Having been in HR, I check the staffing. We call it binocular. I check it every day. Jobina is actually, Ms. Lawson Sellers is absolutely correct. We need to make certain that if we know somebody that loves kids and would like to see this as a career and as a profession, to give us an opportunity. To your question about incentives on salaries, in the state of Florida, there's required collective bargaining, and it's Florida Statute Chapter 447, to where even if I wanted to, or if the general fund had it, I couldn't just directly give it to specified teachers. We have to negotiate that. We actually attempted to negotiate incentives to go to particular sites a couple of years ago when I was in HR, and our collective bargaining group said we either do it at all sites or we don't do it at all, so we didn't get an agreement. So it's not the answer you wanted to hear. It's not the answer I wanted to give, but it's the answer. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. The parents that are not, the kids who are not coming or coming late, there's no way they can be held accountable for what they're doing.
Last week, yes, sir, there is a way. We worked with DJJ and the truancy court. Last week, I had a box delivered to our office. It was that thick, 8.5 by 12, and it was all filled with truancy applications to submit for parents to be held accountable and have to come to truancy court. Yesterday, I got another packet, wasn't nearly as big. Unfortunately, though, what you find is that when those truancy reports or applications go to the court, the judge will have a ruling. I won't say 9 times out of 10, I will say about 70% of the time when they go to the home, there's either no one there to serve those papers or they have moved. Not only can we not contact them, the sheriff's department can't find them. I did see maybe a month or so ago in Mobile where the judge over there really threw the book at a bunch of parents. That has not happened in our school district since in the last 7 months. That's the only ones that I can attest to. But yes, sir, that is what's supposed to happen. That is the law. But to tell you it's been accountable all the way to the fullest extent, I do not know.
When I first moved back to Pensacola, I had a program that I operated with the school system, where through that, the problems with truancy and what they did, those parents that they could get, they were made to come to parenting classes. But the kids had to come, and they took social skill classes. So you're working on both ends, and at the end of the day, you bring both of them back together so that they can be able to working things out. Because most of the parents that we're talking about have no parenting skills. If they don't have skills, I can't give you what I don't have. It's impossible. And if we don't approach that, we're going to continue having the same problems over and over. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. We want to bring it to a close. We want to thank everyone for coming out today. Again, we want to thank WRNA Radio and also WBQP TV again for your support, and also again to Lincoln Park and Principal Sellers and Dr. Moody for allowing us to come here. Great discussion, great resources. I hope everyone has signed in so we can have a good listing of everyone that was here. Thanks Superintendent Lennon for coming out, and we're not going to let this drop. We're going to keep pushing until we can come up with a resolution. And we're going to have more town hall meetings in District 3 because District 3 is very important, and it's hurting. And we need support. We need the community involvement. We need resources, and we need to do it for our children. And just thank you again for everyone that's coming out. Thank you very much, and this brings everything to a conclusion.
There's pizza. There's any pizza left. Thank you.